So police wrote this in an application to request records to help with their investigation into the missing children. She said she would also take her phone from when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt, end quote. She said, they got that parentheses in the wrong place. I found a little error here. She said he would also take her phone from her when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt. Sometimes. Like there is more than 2 or 3 occasions to compare from. That fucking happened all the time then. Mr. Martell, however, Mr. Martell. Oh, finally some respect. No, it's not respect. They're finally referring to him as Mr., something that he's always wanted. Mr. Martell, however, told police that the former couple yelled at each other when fighting. And he told a bunch of people online, we've got that screenshot somewhere in the back, about how physical Malayaia was being and hitting him, and it was her that was abusive towards him, but he didn't want to talk about it because men like Daniel just don't do that. Men like Daniel. Fuck, please. Mr. Martell, however, told police that the former couple yelled at each other when fighting, but there was no physical violence. The court documents show he also told police that they had recently been fighting about money. Money. Oh. Money. Get back. Let's see. Take me to the next one. Mr. Martell denied the account of physical abuse that Mrs. Brooks Murray gave to police. They're even acknowledging an account of physical abuse. Well, that's going to be tough to get past. Take it up with the Globe and Mail, bitch. I'll have to go run into the Drunk Turkey show to make him feel better. Mr. Martell denied the account of physical abuse that Mrs. Brooks Murray gave to police. I did not ever ABUSE Mrs. Brooks Murray, he wrote in a text message to the Globe and Mail. I did not ever. Did not ever. I did not ever. Why don't you just say no? Give a reliable denial for once, you stupid ass. I did not ever ABUSE Mrs. Brooks Murray, he wrote in a text message to the Globe and Mail. He described the allegation as a personal attack that unfairly casts suspicion over him when he's been the only one raising awareness about Jack and Lily. Are you sure about that? He's been the only one raising awareness about Jack and Lily. He's telling that to the Globe and Mail. No, he's the only one who's not. There's so many people out here talking about it, so many creators. I don't think they're having a real problem with word getting out about Jack and Lily. They talk about awareness. This awareness term to these fools has a completely different meaning than it does to you. If I remain in the public eye as a monster, the public's choice is guilty until proven innocent, ! They even have that in the article here. That's Daniel texting the Globe and Mail, adding that neither he nor his family had anything to do with the disappearance of these children. If I remain in the public eye as a monster, the public's choice is guilty until proven innocent. There's a sensitivity in there. Dude, let me. That's round, globular. That's as ambiguous as Prince. If I remain in the public eye as a monster, the public's choice is guilty until proven innocent. Holy fuck, man. I should have just microdosed before I got live. I should have did some mushrooms or something. This dude, adding that neither he nor his family had anything to do with the children's disappearance. Why don't you define that over in your channel there, drinking turkey? The abuse allegation has not been tested in court. And Mr. Martell has not been charged with any offense. Yet. No, that's true, but remind me again about the reason why we're here reading this. Yeah, it has everything to do with Daniel. The documents show that Miss Brooks Murray, that's Malayaia, told police about the alleged ABUSE during her fifth statement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost a week after she broke up with this fruitcake and moved away with her toddler. Their toddler. I'm out here protecting Meadow. See, I'm protecting them from the Children's Aid. What's 3? Let's see here. The allegations were recently unsealed after a legal application by the Globular Mail and CBC to a Nova Scotia judge to release more info concerning the early stages of the investigation of this particular disappearance. Oh, yeah, just pat yourselves on the back. Let's see. Yes, all praise the paper. Let's see. Yeah, I just read all that. Hold on, we'll have to go to number 5. Just a sec. Near. The documents show that Mrs. Brooks Murray told police about the alleged ABUSE during her fifth statement. We talked about that, the allegations, information concerning... Fuck, go to 6. Holy mackerel, what was I doing? What was I doing when I took these? The morning of May 2nd, Mrs. Brooks Murray called 911 around 10 a.m. to report that they had wandered away while she and Mr. Martell were sleeping. Oh, yes. With their toddler at home in the remote hamlet of Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. A massive search led by the RCMP turned up few clues. Police have been tight-lipped about the case. However, they recently explained that a large volume of information they've gathered is helping form pictures of what may have taken place. Oh, what? They declined to share their theories. Oh yeah, everything's on the table, baby. You know what that means. In the early stages of the investigation, the RCMP made 12 applications in court under the Missing Persons Act. But those applications were sealed by court order. At the request of the media outlets, the RCMP consented to release some information in August, but redacted significant portions of the affidavits. The Globe and Mail and CBC went back to court to argue in favor of lifting more of the redactions, and the RCMP consented to releasing more, but not all of the information in their records. Holy shit, you're talking like Daniel there. Now, one of the reasons cited by the RCMP for maintaining the redactions is the possibility that the investigation could turn criminal and that the release of such information could compromise an investigation. Well, isn't that the same thing Daniel likes to walk around talking about? Yes. One of the reasons cited by the RCMP for maintaining the redactions, we read this, when an investigation is ongoing, it is difficult to know what information, if made public, would compromise future investigative steps. Well, at this stage, we do not have reasonable grounds to believe a crime has been committed. That assessment could change as we move forward with our investigation. It's going to move forward when all of the pieces and the information that they have out come back. Yeah, this is what the RCMP Corporal Charlene Curl, C-U-R-L, in a January 8 affidavit said. Now, Corporal Curley, said in the document, the RCMP continues to explore all avenues and are leveraging technologically based investigative police techniques. Oh yeah, I like this Corporal Curley. She knows what she's talking about. You know what that means? It means that they're taking screenshots and they're watching Danny. Nothing's off the table. Leveraging technologically based investigative police techniques. Well, what do you think that you're listening to here now is? This is the technology-based investigative technique. Should they be listening, big shout out, but they're not. What they're looking for is pertinent information, things that just pop up, that paint a better picture parents and others during polygraph tests. Corporal Curl said she anticipates more people will be asked to do a polygraph test, and if the exact wording is released, it could seriously risk the integrity of the results of any further tests. You know what's really interesting about all of this is that we are now introduced to the new corporal of the RCMP, the hard-ass corporal, the one that has to be the bearer of bad news. They're not so friendly with all of the suspects in that sense. This Corporal Curl is talking real shit. She's talking all about the future, where things are going, where things are headed, without directly stating them. Introduced several interesting things. The RCMP and Mrs. Brooks Murray also opposed releasing highly personal information that pertain to Mrs. Brooks Murray and Mr. Martell's relationship, parenting, and financial situation. Yeah, we know why you don't want anybody looking at it. We can speculate as to why. You just gave us our answer right there. That was easy. We can just imagine. Corporal Curl wrote that despite intense media coverage and fantastic social media speculations, the highly personal information, to the best of her knowledge, hasn't been made public or confirmed by either Miss Brooks or Mr. Martell. Ooh, I wonder what it could be. She doesn't get much fucking worse than this. Here's a very important quote, as minute as you may think it is. We want people who may be witnesses, like Malayaia, to feel comfortable coming forward and sharing information with us to assist investigations without fear that everything they say may become public, she wrote. Meaning that if things were to get too specific and they're to come out in the public, it kind of fucks things up in that sense. In other words, everything that we speculate on, everything that actually has to do with the circumstance, shouldn't be made public, not just because it's going to hurt her feelings. One, it would be out of their control and cause possible harm that's unfair to the people involved at such an early stage without knowing where you're really going to go with this in the first place. It's not a trick. It makes sense. have all of the information. There's only going to be so many choices with what it is that we publicly know at this point. The RCMP, or Corporal Curl, wrote that despite intense media coverage and social media speculation, the highly personal information, to the best of her knowledge, hasn't been made public or confirmed by either Malayaia or Daniel. We want people who may be witnesses to feel comfortable. I think it represents where they are in the case with Malayaia right there. They wanted the public to know, and this was speaking on behalf, and they wanted to make it look like they care for Malayaia in that sense. It's part of their rapport building with a very important individual in this case as to telling us what actually happened. That way we can see contradictions in what's already out there. And she doesn't want all of that to be made public in that sense necessarily. We don't need it to be, but you can see where that's going. They want Malayaia to feel comfortable. That's the most important witness at this point in time. Now, maybe I'm speaking a little bit too early, but I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't have been Malayaia that chose to get physical or violent in this situation, unless it was trying to protect her kids. And even then, I don't know. I don't know her well enough yet. In my opinion, it still looks like Daniel has brought upon some sort of violence to end the lives of a 4- and 6-year-old.
Please, Jack and Lily started, and I'm still a hermit. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. On my interview, and I'll tell you now, on my interview about the sliding door, the lady that did the interview, her name is Allie, very nice lady. She was the one that opened the door. I asked her to do it for me so everybody wouldn't think that I was doing something to disrupt this investigation, or people saying, oh, she opened it up lightly, or she did this, or she did that. I got Allie to open the door twice. So, she was the one that opened up the door. Oh, and I also in my interview told them that if they want to come take up my driveway, or if they want to come lift my trailer.
Now she's got a mouthful of like probably pie or some cheap ass thing from the grocery store. And she's talking with their mouth full, talking about missing kids.
Or lift the RV, or anything they wanted to do. They were more than welcome to come and do it. I have nothing to hide. The kids are not here on this property. But they did put a drone underneath the trailer. They had an army guy come in with this great big drone that they use.
See, it's interesting, and it's becoming a bit of a pattern how she flips in and out of specificity. Here she states that the kids aren't here on this property. Like, that's very specific in all of the places that the kids probably are. Clearly, everybody can see the kids aren't on that property. We can see that. We saw that May 2nd. Clearly, Janie, you're subconsciously referring to whatever happened to Jack and Lily. You're, again, insinuating death indirectly and stating that the kids aren't there on that property, which is probably true. I trust the teams from the RCMP in that sense. Where did you take the children? Where did you hide them? Because that's what you've done. You've taken them and you've hidden them, just like Durwood said. but you've taken them not alive. You've taken them deceased, and now you're pretending that the kids just wandered off, never to be seen again, in the middle of absolute nowhere.
And they put it underneath the trailer, and I offered to go underneath the trailer with a flashlight to show them that Jack and Lily weren't under there, and they said no, that they could get under there with the drone. And I'm not here for you guys to feel sorry for me. I'm just here to tell the truth. You guys have your own opinion of me.
That's exactly why she's there. She's looking for a little bit of sympathy. That's why she's always wondering and asking why people aren't coming to console her at any point in time when she needs them. It's continuously just normalizing, overlooking their roles in all of this, no matter if they're directly culpable or not. Even if, listen, people feel worse if they can't find their keys, if their cats go missing. If they're in proximity of children, these normal human beings are so emotionally affected by it, they're in awe. Not Janie, she's got all of the answers. But everything that she has to say speaks directly to herself, as opposed to really anything that's actually relevant to children who are now missing. Drifting in and out of sleep. You're the ones who introduced this drifting in and out of sleep as though it's a legit defense, especially in an investigation. It's fairly ambiguous in that sense. It's a non-answer. Especially, Danny, when you come to social media immediately afterwards and contradict yourself almost non-stop. This isn't right. The kids' clothes are different. Flawed logic non-stop, trying to convince stupid people of something even stupider. Uranus, Jupiter, stupider. Nick, wasn't she just crying now she has her mouth full while she's speaking? Yeah, that's right, Enoch. Eating makes her feel better, especially when she's stuck out there in that fucking RV. Totally normal, isn't it? Telling everybody that's there to listen to her to be nice or she's leaving. Diana Ross here. She's like one of those Furbies that talks and opens their eyes, Tam says. Oh shit. On your way to the washroom and scares the heck out of you. I sent my sons back to his father's place. It creeped me out. Janie needs to think hard. 3 meals a day, shared cell, psychological warfare. The person that spills first gets some slack. Hold out and it won't end well. There's no fucking possible way. Here's the thing. You sit this woman down in an interview room, you best be prepared to make some arrests afterwards. You can't just have it where you're going to pull them in on a Tuesday and see what they say and come to a determination. When you come in the second time, you already have, and you're anticipating that they're not going home as an officer, as a detective. You know what your direction is going to be. You know why you're pressing them. Because you're blowing apart their story, and that's going to happen in a matter of hours at some point in time. When all of the pieces that they talked about come together and the information comes together to paint a more complete picture of the picture they've already referenced, that's when that time will be. All of our current trauma and frustration is centric around simply the fact that most of us are happy not knowing the law. And unfortunately, Once you get to learn it a little bit and the reasons why, you feel a little better as to why there haven't been straight up arrests yet in this sense. It's out of our control because the guilty parties, the people that are responsible, are one, lying and trying to cover up their tracks and have covered up any smoking gun direct evidence that they're culpable in this. So they're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way.